Colorado Reno Devils Digest. I know the passing game, even in recent losses before Washington, did perform at a higher level than it did last Saturday. Aside from Washington having one of the better pass defenses in the league, were there any issues that you identified last Saturday that maybe were not there the last few games?
No, they obviously played man more on early downs. Had some opportunities with some one-on-one balls that, if they go the other way, and like I told the guys, like that type of stuff, we're going to make those plays. If we throw 7 one-on-one balls, I feel confident that we're going to catch 3 of them in a game, on a consistent basis. So, no, I don't think there was anything. They just challenged us more, play a little bit more man-to-man on early downs.
Chris Carmen, Son of a Source. Kenny, after watching the game back, I'm sure as you always do, did you have any evolved perspective on anything that maybe was a little bit different than watching it, either the officiating or anything else that you saw?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely saw some things that were different, but I think from an us perspective, it's not really. There was a few things in terms of how they were playing the backside of zone. They're bringing backside edge blitz and squeezing the in pretty heavy that I didn't see on game day. That maybe would have altered a few run calls, maybe try to get some locked runs or something along those lines. They were cutting the front there in the fourth quarter to try to negate the backside tackle. But other than that, it was a pretty clean to what I saw, other than the few things that I'm not going to talk about.
And then you ran the ball better than you have in earlier games this season. Not great maybe, but at least pretty good. Was that something that you could take some confidence from?
Yeah, I think it all goes together. So if you want to get in and be a cut split, speed sweep, toss team, you can't be everything. So if you want to cut them in and be that, you're going to elaborate in the running game and create more problems in terms of the pin and pulls and the speed sweeps. But you have to invest your time in that stuff, which means you're not going to invest your time quite as much in some more open sets that, feed into some passing game. Because you're not going to pair the things together. And when the tighter splits you get, the more nakeds and true shots become your game plan. And we're struggling right now with the shots. So it kind of all went together. We wanted to control the clock in the game. We wanted to try to be efficient. And when you look back at it, there was we were efficient in a lot of ways. We only had, very few 3-and-outs. There was 4 drives consecutively that took up 16 minutes of game clock. Which is what you want to do versus those guys. The issue is we weren't consistent enough throughout the entire drive to actually put points on the board, whether that was with field goals in our field goal unit, where we were with the O-line, preventing us kicking them. But regardless of that situation, we weren't consistent enough to play that style of game and then finish off with touchdowns. And that's really the challenge. If we want to be that team that expands the running game with all that stuff, we're going to reduce the box. We're going to shrink the box. It's not going to be as much of the quick passing game because you can't do that. Harder to do that from cut splits because it's harder to see what the pictures are. So you've got to be able to hit the explosive plays for touchdowns. I got to do a better job getting a few more easy dump naked throws in on early downs, if that's possible. And then we got to be able to stay consistent throughout a drive because we're playing really good defense.
Coach Blake Neiman, Cronkite Sports, you have held the lead going into the fourth quarter in these past 2 games. You talked about how close you are to getting over the hump to a victory. What it goes into getting that final finish in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, cleaning the bus after the game. That's the difference. Cleaning the bus. Defense's bus is clean, offense's bus is dirty. That's what goes into winning those types of football games. Literally. Cleaning the bus. Picking up after yourself.
So Max went down in the game, continuing offensive line theme. Is there any update on him or others with the group?
Little update on Max. He'll be out 2 to 4 weeks. The group, high chance we get Frosty back this week, which would be huge for us. Losing one, we're in this kind of like mold where we're, get and replace mode right now. But it is good that we're going to get him back if we're going to lose Max for a little bit. Everybody else, I feel like it's kind of status quo. So same real situation, just trading out Frosty for Max, which moves some guys out because Frosty's a guard instead of where Max was a tackle.
And Anthony Cooper went down. Is there anything?
No update there. We're still waiting on some results.
Sure.
Hey, Coach, Jordan Ham, Sports 360 AZ. After the game, you called on the general student body, on any big-bodied people that could help. Has anyone taken you up on that?
There was one guy somebody showed me on Twitter. He was pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. He was in a jersey. He was like pass setting. Field goal, you don't have to move. You just gotta stand there unless somebody run you over. But not really. I mean, but I did challenge. I mean, in the meeting today, I challenged the defense that most defensive players don't play field goal, maybe unless it's a wing. That we're gonna have to use some guys on the D line, and the reason for that is pure size. Most defensive linemen in 4-down schemes aren't 315 pounds. They're 270, 240. So, the physics of field goal doesn't fit to those. But the guys that are big like that, like the CJ Fights of the world, I told Trey Brown he may have to play wing because we may have to move some of our wing size down. It is what it is, and I did a bad job getting us ready for, a situation like that. I should have practiced that. Rookie mistake by me. I feel like it was a critical part of the game that we couldn't kick a field goal just because we didn't have enough depth there. We should have practiced our entire D-line on field goal before based off of our situation, which I've never had to do, never been a part of that. So now that I've faced it and seen it, I can learn from it and I can be better.
Coach, just on the aspect of the run game and that kind of being opened up last game, with DeCarlos Brooke being back in the mix, how much did that help with the fluidity of the offense?
That was huge. It was good getting a mix between keeping Scott fresh with DeCarlos and having that back and forth, both being similar backs, but just a little bit different in their run style. Very, very minor, but just a little bit different is a good balance for us. And you could see that. You could see the freshness in both those guys. So that was a huge, huge positive. I thought our backs ran hard. I thought our O-line did a nice job in the running game. I think part of that is we opened things up with kind of what we were doing with all the perimeter runs and the perimeter screens. We were trying to open the backside C-gap up.
Question? You pass that back to Jordan. Thank you.
Hey, Coach, when you look at what Washington State does on offense, and especially at quarterback, what can you take maybe from Washington and help apply to Washington State?
Yeah, they, to be honest, they're kind of significantly different. They both throw the ball a lot, but Washington is a vertical passing game. Throws the ball down the field a lot. Washington State does some of that, but if you watch their last game versus Oregon, it's screen, shot. But similar styles, but in terms of open sets, they don't get into as many formations. They really try to play that we got good looks. So you'll see them check into some good plays. You'll see Ward change the play, it looks like, at the line of scrimmage sometimes. So they're more trying to get into good looks for certain defensive structures. Whereas Washington's shift motion, create the confusion. We know / anticipate what you're going to do, throw the shots, get into some good runs. So a little bit different way to attack, both trying to throw the football, just in different philosophies.
What's the difference with preparing for a guy like Cameron Ward versus Michael Penix Jr.?
Yeah, I mean, Penix is going to throw the ball from the pocket a little more. Ward's going to, extend plays a little more, but they both play within the system. The Washington system is very structured based in terms of when the ball should be out timing. Washington State system is very free, and they do a really nice job with him. I mean, he extends plays a lot. He knows where to go with the football. He looks really, really confident this year, so he's been playing really well.
Hi, Coach. Steve Guglielcello, Arizona Sports. It's homecoming week. You're an alum. What does homecoming mean to you, and what do you think it means to the crowd coming?
Is it bad that I didn't know it was homecoming? It's homecoming?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, come out. I mean, we've had last two games have been sellouts. Be unbelievable if we could get 3 games in a row as a sellout for homecoming. Our guys are battling. I think everybody should be proud of how our guys are playing. Anybody who watches us knows our guys are playing hard. They're practicing hard. They're preparing hard. And we just got to keep getting better.
Coach, obviously, I mean, the interceptions, I know, talking about it, they finally came. Just from that point of it, from what the defense was able to do and everything, I mean, going forward, how much confidence do you feel that gives them? I shouldn't say confidence, more confidence that gives them, but just your overall thoughts on those interception plays.
Unbelievable. I mean, our defense has been playing really, really, really good football the entire season. I mean, the only reason that we're not statistically probably a top 15 defense is our offense has struggled. Special teams have put short fields, and then they didn't get takeaways early in the season. So you have to, use all 3 downs to get somebody off the field every drive. Most good defenses have 1 or 2 drives a game where they just get off the field with turnovers, and you saw that. So hopefully that continues to build. But I couldn't be happy with how our defense is playing. And like I showed them today, we played really well, and there's still areas to get better at and improve. And that's always the challenge, is when you have success, there's 2 sides of adversity. And the fun part is our football team is facing both sides of that adversity in the same week. We have one side of the ball that failed and is facing that adversity. We have another side of the ball that had extreme success and is facing the adversity of people telling them they're good. So it's a really, really tough challenge for our football team to both sides of the ball stay focused on the task at hand, and that's just being the best version of ourselves today, tomorrow, and every single day we take the football field.
Coach, it seemed like in the game that there was a lot of 50-50 chances for receivers. Where do you think the key is to coming out on top of those one-on-ones?
Yeah, I mean, I always look at myself in those scenarios and I say, okay, well, maybe we get more of those in practice. We've been doing a lot of one-on-ones, but, maybe we put the ball on a hash. Maybe we go to the lower red zone. Maybe we get some more of these 50-50 fade balls for our guys to the field. What can I do to help that scenario? Because we did have those opportunities. So I have a lot of confidence in our guys going to make plays. I mean, I think we had 9 of them in the game, 8 or 9 of them in the game. 0 for 9, 0 for 8. And you make any one of those, you could win the football game. But I go back to, what can I do to get us to make those plays? And we can practice those scenarios better. Practice them more, practice them with more intensity. I can go over there and be passionate about the drill, not just let the drill happen, right? What can I do to make that more game-like?
Hey, Coach. So you've talked about a lot of the culture that you're trying to establish here at ASU. Would you say that Saturday is a really big culture game? You're back in front of the home crowd for the first time in a couple weeks, and you guys have, again, shown that you like you've said, you're right there. And now that you have a homecoming crowd back in Tempe, is this a good opportunity for you guys to really try to get back in the win column and just, say that this train is still moving, as much as some people might just not have the confidence in it?
Yeah, I don't ever look at it as a game as a reflection of, are we working in the right direction culturally? I look at, do we show up early on Monday? Are there people on the list? Do we have a good Tuesday practice? Saturday is a reflection of everything you do throughout the week, how you live your life. So I don't look at the game as a reflection of our culture. I mean, it's obviously going to reflect, we work hard, we compete, and that's going to show up. But I don't look at the result. So I'm not looking at the result of Saturday's game to say, is this working or is it not? I'm looking at the process. And that's why when somebody asked the question earlier, I said the bus was dirty. Because I mean that. And I think that's just where we are as a program is, do the little things right. And that's what winning teams do. Unless you're going to be, a team that has unbelievable talent and can do whatever they want, you've got to be able to do the little things right. And you got to take pride in the little things. And if you don't think that little thing matters, that's what I told the guys, then you're making a decision that you know what wins. You think that you know what wins, right? But the fact of the matter is there's a lot of guys who don't. And we have to teach them that this type of stuff wins. And the defensive bus is spotless. The bus driver says it was the cleanest bus she's ever had. And different on the other side. Why? Well, it's a decision. We got to make those decisions as a team to be better.